Hey everybody, what is happening with you guys? I hope that you're having a fantastic day today. Now today, if you're listening to this on the release day, I'm releasing it January 3rd. Now tomorrow's the 4th. I almost didn't put something out and I realized, you know what? You guys are on vacation. You know, maybe you have extra time and you want to listen to something new. So I'm dropping this one. Now, I don't know if you guys know it or not, but we're way ahead. This episode I recorded in January. So 6 months ago, right? But it's a good one. And I've kind of been saving it. It's my guest today is Michael Maher. Maher. Now, this guy's an author. He's a big-time author. He wrote 7 Levels of Communication. People are literally raving fans of this book. And here's what we talk about today. Now, you have to listen to this one all the way through, and you have to really listen to this one because there's some complex stuff in it. So I really pay attention. Now, please. Okay, so here's some of the nuggets that he talks about. Now, how he starts this whole thing off, in sales, everybody says, hey, it's a numbers game, Now, it is a numbers game, but, Michael argues that it's not about numbers. It's about relationships, the quality of those relationships, the depth of those relationships. And he encourages you to be a giver. Now, I also recently interviewed a guy named Bob Berg called The Go Giver, kind of similar type message at some level. Now, he delivers some nuggets. Literally stuff that you can literally stop and implement in your business today. He says that you should segment your list by who is most important to your business, and then go and love on them. And really, Michael's message is all about how to get more referrals, right? We all want more referrals. So he tells you how to do that. And again, his book is about that. We talk about what he calls homeostatic relationships, ones that aren't changing, and then harmonic relationships, and how to move homeostatic relationships into harmony. I tap Michael about some of my personal stuff. And look, one of the things that he talks about is expectations, and he's got this really, I don't know. His demeanor is very interesting when he talks about expectations, because he's like, I don't have any. I don't go into any situation having expectations. Whereas we all do that, right? For the most part, we all go into situations, phone calls, meetings, whatever, with certain expectations. So he talks about him not having expectations, and how that if you want to get deeper with your clients, with your friends or whatever, go into every situation understanding what their expectations are. All right, so at the end of the episode, we talk about his 30-day challenge to you. And he also, you guys know, I always ask for a book recommendation, and he gives us a very, very unique angle on just get to it. I think you're going to like it. I was particularly impressed by what he said there. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first $1 million in real estate. Yeah. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Let's get to the nuts and bolts of a little housekeeping. Okay, first, hashtag for this show is Unpack That Idea. My Twitter handle is @SuperAgentsLive. What I would love you to do is go to the website, download my free ebook, get on my list, because there's things that I share with my list that I don't share on this show. So I'd love for you to be a part of that. Subscribe to the show on iTunes if you haven't. And man, you know what I'd really love? Give me an iTunes review. That helps the show. That helps people, us get more exposure for the show. Okay, 2 more things. Normally, I talk about radio right here. If you want to level up, and do radio and get listings, go to realestateradioexperts.com. Check it out. If you think you're ready, fill out the getting started sheet and we can chat. Now, the latest passion project I've been building, as I've talked about the last couple episodes, is how to use Facebook, right? How to use Facebook right. Not just being on Facebook, but how to build a custom audience, how to build a lookalike audience. All that stuff that you guys really may not be, how to use insights, right? How to do split testing, how to actually get leads on Facebook, retargeting, the right images for copy, what should your copy for ads be, different types of ads, blah, blah, blah. So, what we're doing, the first 100 people are going to get it for $197. The next 100 people are going to get it for $297, and then it's going to cap out at $397. So there's still some spots left for that $197. So if you're interested, send me an email, and we'll sign you up. Okay, hey, let's get to it. Today's guest is a guy named Michael Maher. He's an author of The 7 Levels of Communication, Go from Relationships to Referrals. I think he just did a new project with Hal Elrod, the Miracle Morning guy, who's also been on the show. I'm thrilled to welcome Michael. Michael, thanks for taking the time out today.
Thank you, Toby. I appreciate it, and good to be on. And thank you for all you do for businesses and real estate agents everywhere.
Thank you, man.
Fantastic.
Thank you. So let's talk about the 7 levels of communication. One of the things that I do, the show is very unscripted. I ask 2 or 3 same questions every time, and I always ask for book recommendation. Out of the 200 interviews that I've done, I would say probably 4 or 5 times your book has come up. So tell us a little bit about the 7 levels of communication and how you can take relationships to referrals.
Well, first of all, the 7 levels of communication is about communication and about relationship. We all know that it's no longer a numbers game. It's a relationships game. And what I teach in 7L is essentially it's a love story that even a guy could read. And it's about helping others and, in turn, being ready when they want to help you back. And that's truly the essence of it, is that it's about loving on others with generosity. And when you practice this proactive generosity on a daily basis, you basically feel like Oprah and Santa Claus and the Tooth Fairy all at once. And what happens is that it comes crashing back to you. It comes back to you. In fact, you're going to be flooded with so many opportunities that you're almost afraid to receive it all. And the key is helping people receive that. And that's my mission in life. My mission is to help people practice proactive generosity and to help people become appreciative receivers. Because a lot of the givers that come to us are pretty good givers. They're great reactive givers, but they need help being proactive givers. And then they're also tend to be pretty poor at being appreciative receivers. They're being poor at receiving. They're great at giving, but not necessarily receiving. And I show them how to be appreciative receivers because what happens when a giver receives is they are energized and empowered to give, but not only do they give more, they give better. They give at a higher level. And the more you give a giver, the more they're going to reciprocate, the more they're going to give. So that's what I do.
Yeah, that's interesting. And one of the things you said in there, you said, if you give, if you provide value to other people, you're gonna get paid back, right? And I'll tell you, even for me doing the show, in terms of I've had tons and tons of opportunities. I mean, a TV show reached out to me. Yahoo has interviewed me. So I certainly agree with you on that level. Now, in terms of what you said, it's not a numbers game, it's a relationship game, and I think the challenge is everybody wants to build their list, and once you get to a critical mass in your list, obviously you have less time to you can only go so deep with relationships. How does someone manage those two things?
Yeah, so you grade your list, right?
Okay.
There's people in your list, there's people in your community, there's people in your life who are more important than others. And that's the honest to goodness truth. I mean, it may be controversial to some, but the bottom line is my mom is more important than Toby Salgado, right?
Yep.
And I'm okay with that, and you're probably okay with that, right?
Yep.
And this person who has gotten me on to 15 speaking engagements is having me MC 2 extremely large events with over 2,000 people is more important to my business than my mom. right? So the thing is I need to communicate and stay in harmonic relationship with the type of people who mean the most to me and my business. So that's the thing is there's this thing called homeostatic relationships versus harmonic relationships. And homeostatic is balance. The reason a lot of people don't get referrals from the people they know is because the relationship is at balance. It's homeostatic. It's just there's no energy there, right? It's like we're cordial, we're friendly, we go fishing, we drink beer, whatever it may be. It's balanced. Well, the thing is where you get referrals is when there's energy, there's activity in a relationship, and that's a harmonic relationship. Harmonic is up, down, up, down, up, down. There's a value exchange, and that's the beauty is you want to keep the relationships that are most important to you in harmony versus just in homeostasis.
How does someone? I want to talk a little bit. That was great how you unpacked the notion of or the concept of grading your list. In terms of how would we tell? If we want to go and say, we're going to try to grade our list, and I would imagine your first step is to go, okay, is my relationship with Michael or Mickey or whoever, is it homeostatic or do we have harmony? How do I gauge the difference?
Referrals. That's what's so beautiful about that is you're going to grade your list with regard to one thing. It's referrals. And that is, if they've referred you multiple times, they're a raving fan. I mean, you've got guests that have been on your show. You've got fans who are forwarding out and copying your message and posting it on Facebook, and they're truly ambassadors for Toby and ambassadors for your show. So those are the ones that need to get the most love. And you're like, oh my gosh, whoa. And for a lot of people, that's a wake-up call because they're like, oh, I don't need to do anything over there because these people are already doing it. But see, that's where you need to become an appreciative receiver, and you are an appreciative receiver. In general, business people need to be appreciative receivers. When they see that, you need to pour on the appreciation. You need to let that person know that you really, really sincerely appreciate and genuinely appreciate what they're doing. So the first thing is grade it on terms of referrals and on terms of spreading the word for you, and that you're going to grade it. A+ is an ambassador, somebody that's they're literally a megaphone for you. They are ones who are referring you multiple times a year, and then you're going to have an A level, which is someone who's ever referred you, and that's going to be a champion, what we call a champion. And then you've got a B, which are people like potential champions. These are ones that you hope to be in relationship with, but it's kind of homeostatic right now. Or there's just not much of a relationship. And the fact of the matter is, you don't know if they're a champion or ambassador for you because you've never asked. You've never figured out if this is the show that they refer. Or in a lot of business or real estate agents, it's like you're not sure if you're the realtor they would refer.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is you have to find out if you're the realtor they would refer. And then you're going to have a C, which is the friends and family level, what I call the friends and family. These are people who you're in homeostatic relationship with. You've been in harmonic relationship in the past. It didn't necessarily pan out with a lot of referrals or any referrals. So you want to stay in touch with them, but you're not going to count on any referrals from them. And then the D, quite honestly, are the toxic, right? These are the ones you need to delete. D is for delete. And there's just certain people that you need to get out of your community, get out of your list. And that's the truth. I mean, you need to get them out because they're probably withholding you and your community from soaring to the next level. One of the best things you can do is fire someone from your community.
Okay. So I'm glad you brought up this D list or this toxic list. What happens? Look, I'll be totally honest with you. So there are lots of people. I have an audience, and there's lots of people who want to tap into my audience, and sometimes I feel used from people. They're like, hey, can you do this for me? And I'm happy to do it at some level. But then I realize what they're doing. I realize that they want access to my list, to my influence, to my community. Mm-hmm. I do know that there's potential because they also have a list, and I struggle with this, Michael. How do I don't know if I should grade them as toxic. They certainly, they're either B or D for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let me ask you back.
Okay.
How could you tell the difference between B or D? What question could you ask them that makes the most sense?
So if I ask them, hey, can you, let's say I shot, because look, you're part of this platform, and this now all of a sudden I'm using you and my platform here to answer my questions, but and hopefully the audience finds it interesting. But so
they will.
Okay.
They're incredibly curious about Toby. They are incredibly curious about Toby. So you processing this is full of value for everybody that's listening. Okay.
So if I ask them, hey, listen, I have, we have a radio advertising arm. Okay. And if I say, hey, I just created this video, this is how I do it. Would your list find this information interesting? And then they'll respond back, yeah, we can probably do something with this. And then, I feel like, well, should I feel like I should just wait for them. I mean, I can push them, say, no, push, go ahead and push it out. But then I feel like I'm using them. So I don't do that. And then, so now we're at homeostasis.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe, right? And that's what's interesting about the universe, right? About the world is that the world wants to be at homeostasis, right? The world wants balance. Believe me. I mean, everything it does, it's like somebody has a hurricane or a snowmageddon hits or something like that. What happens is people will give. They will help the people that were in the hurricane or snowmageddon.
Yeah.
And it'll bring kind of the universe back to somewhat of a balance. What we have to do on a constant daily basis is put the world out of balance in our favor. And what that means is give, right? Give massive value to each and every person that we come along to, right? And here's the thing, you're like, well, I'm not sure who to give massive value first to, right? Well, the thing is give massive value to everybody. And when you're doing that, risk it. It takes a little risk to do that. It's a little courageous to do it, but do it anyway, because what's going to happen is there's not going to have any activity if you tiptoe into a relationship, right? The key is to come on too strong with generosity. So in your case is that I think one question that you could ask when you're building this relationship, if you're doing a call, you could say, well, how do I make this call the biggest win for you? You could ask them that. So immediately you get their expectations right from the front, and you have a couple of choices. One is you're not going to be able to deliver what they expect. That's okay. You can refer them out or just let them know right there that you'd rather turn them down now than let them down later, right?
Okay.
And then the second thing that you can do is if they say something, you can then deliver far above their expectations. You can actually go above and beyond in exceeding their expectations that they came to the table with. So, one of the questions is, how do I make this the biggest win for you? And that's a great question for anyone. I mean, literally, you want to build a relationship with your son, daughter, wife, mother, spouse, whatever it may be. It's you're getting ready to do something. Listen, how do I make this the biggest win for you? I did this with my 6-year-old kid. I was driving to the park, and now here the disclaimer and warning here is be ready for any answer. Right. So I'm driving to the park, and we do this every Sunday, and it's like, so Max, how can I make this day at the park the biggest win for you? And he goes, Daddy, can you let me play with like some of the kids that are my age today? And it was like, oh, whoa. Right. It's like that was startling, because as a dad, what do I want to do? I want to kick